They lied to you. From the moment you could walk, talk, breathe, and dream, they started feeding you a version of life that was never meant to make you powerful. They trained you like a pet, not a warrior. Be nice. Fit in. Follow the rules. Don't question authority. That was the trap. You think in a school, getting a job, buying a house with a 30-year mortgage, and retiring at 65 is what success looks like. Wake up. That's not success. That's survival on a leash. The system was never designed to make you powerful. It was designed to keep you obedient. Think about that for a second, not just as a quote, but as a reality that has shaped your entire existence since childhood. From the first day you stepped into a classroom, they weren't teaching you how to think. They were teaching you how to follow. Sit still. Raise your hand. Don't speak unless spoken to. Memorize, repeat, obey. They call it education, but it's really just conditioning. They hand you a set of rules and punish you for questioning them. Every spark of individuality is slowly dimmed. Every bold idea labeled as rebellion. You ever wonder why they never taught you how to build a business, invest your money, or negotiate in the real world? Why they never taught you how to master your emotions, control your habits, or develop your mind like a weapon? Because none of that would benefit the system. Powerful people don't fit well into cages. They wanted you predictable, compliant, manageable. They wanted you clocking in, clocking out, paying taxes, and retiring quietly. Look around. Most people wake up with an alarm they hate, rush through traffic they despise, to sit in offices they loathe, doing work that drains their soul. And for what? For a paycheck that barely covers the bills. For a weekend they spend trying to forget the week? That's not purpose. That's survival on autopilot. You were not born to be a slave to a schedule. But the system told you that if you just followed the rules, go to school, get a degree, get a job, one day you'd be free. One day you'd have made it. But that day never comes. Because the system is a loop. It feeds on your time, and time is the most valuable thing you have. Here's the truth they never told you: power doesn't come from compliance. It comes from choice, and choice comes from knowledge and courage. You've got to know the game and have the guts to play it differently. That's what separates the winners from the watchers. You ever notice how the people who break the rules often run the world? The dropout who built an empire, the rebel who created a movement, the misfit who turned pain into power. It's not an accident. They saw through the illusion. They understood that real power comes when you stop playing the game they handed you and start building your own. But they don't want you to think like that. They want you afraid to fail, afraid to stand out, afraid to take risks. So they flood you with fear. They glorify safety. They sell you comfort like it's a luxury, but comfort kills ambition. And fear is the leash that keeps lions acting like sheep. Let's talk about your daily life. How many things do you do out of habit, not choice? How many hours do you give to people and places that don't grow you? How many dreams have you buried under a pile of what-ifs and maybe laters? They trained you to believe that dreaming is dangerous, that it's safer to settle. They lied. Settling is slow death. Real power is waking up and saying, this is my life, mine. I choose what I do with it. I choose who I become. And I refuse to be another obedient cog in a broken machine. They want you dependent on the job, the paycheck, the approval, the system. But freedom comes when you break that dependency. When you realize that you can build your own value, your own money, your own destiny. You don't need permission to level up. You don't need validation to chase what sets your soul on fire. The system will never hand you freedom, because if you're free, they lose control. They've convinced generations to trade freedom for security, but that security is a trap. Security is the illusion they use to keep you from fighting for more. They say, just stay in line, don't make noise, and we'll take care of you. But who's really taking care of you when you're stuck in debt, stressed, exhausted, and empty? Every powerful person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, they had to go against the current. They had to unplug from the program. They had to stop asking for permission to be great. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand the hell out. But to do that, you have to unlearn everything they taught you. You have to kill the need to be liked, the addiction to approval, the fear of being different. Obedience might keep you safe, but only courage sets you free. This world doesn't reward obedience. It rewards results. It rewards those who dare to think, speak, act, and live differently. So stop waiting for the system to change. It won't. You have to change. You have to rise. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right here, right in the middle of the same world trying to tame you. Because the system may have lied to you about life. But now you know. And once you know, you can never go back. Comfort, not struggle, is the real trap. Growth comes through pain. People spend their whole lives chasing comfort like it's the prize. They want soft beds, easy jobs, chill weekends, no stress, no pressure. They think that's success. They think that's peace. But what they don't realize is that comfort is the slow poison that kills potential. Comfort makes you soft. Comfort makes you weak. Comfort makes you forget that you were built for war, not for rest. Look at your life right now. How many times have you avoided the hard path because the easy one felt safer? How many times have you silenced your ambition just to keep the peace? How many dreams have you abandoned because chasing them felt uncomfortable, uncertain, and full of struggle? And then you wonder why you feel stuck, why you feel empty. It's because your soul knows you're meant for more, but your comfort is keeping you in chains. Pain is not your enemy. Struggle is not your enemy. They're your allies. They're the fire that burns away the weakness, the pressure that builds the diamond. Think about the gym. When do your muscles grow? When they're comfortable? No, they grow when they're torn, stretched, pushed to the edge. And your mind, your character, your spirit, they work the same way. They don't evolve in luxury. They evolve in chaos. You ever see a butterfly emerge from a cocoon? It has to fight its way out. It has to struggle, push, suffer through that tight space. And that struggle is what gives its wings strength. If someone cuts the cocoon to help it, the butterfly comes out weak and it dies. The struggle was necessary. The pain was the process. Comfort would have killed it. Same goes for lions. They don't become kings of the jungle by lounging under the shade all day. They become kings by hunting, fighting, bleeding. They live in uncertainty. They chase their food. They earn every bite. And because of that, they're powerful. Now compare that to a zoo lion. It gets fed every day. It doesn't have to do anything. Just sit there. But it's not really alive. It's not really free. It's domesticated. It's controlled. And that's what comfort does to you. This is why people with hard beginnings often become the strongest. They know struggle. They've tasted pain. They had no choice but to fight. And in that fight, they found their power. While others were playing it safe, they were grinding. While others were avoiding the storm, they were walking through it. And that storm shaped them. But society won't tell you this. Society sells you the lie that life should be easy, that you should always be happy, always be chill, always be comfortable. They sell you the dream of retirement, of luxury, of doing nothing. And if you buy it, you'll end up broken, because doing nothing breaks the human spirit. We are meant to build. We are meant to grow, and growth is never comfortable. Think about your daily life. Think about the mornings you hit snooze, because it's more comfortable than getting up and chasing your goals. Think about the conversations you avoid, because it's more comfortable to stay quiet. Think about the opportunities you ignore because it's more comfortable not to risk rejection. Comfort is stealing your future one lazy moment at a time. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you make a trade. You trade long-term greatness for short-term ease. And the price you pay, regret, deep, silent, soul-crushing regret. The kind that shows up years later when you realize you're not who you could have been, not because you weren't capable, but because you chose comfort every damn time it got hard. You've got to fall in love with the process. You've got to chase discomfort like it's your purpose. Because it is. Wake up early when it sucks. Go to the gym when you're tired. Speak up when your voice shakes. Launch that business when you're scared. Leave that dead end job even if it's stable. Do the hard thing again and again. Because that's where the real life is. Comfort zones feel good, but nothing grows there. Nothing great, nothing legendary, nothing powerful. You want strength? Walk through the fire. You want wisdom? Embrace the pain. You want success? Stop running from the grind. Every tear, every scar, every setback, that's the price of transformation. The people you admire, the ones at the top, they didn't get there by avoiding pain. They got there because they were willing to bleed. They didn't choose comfort. They chose growth. They chose to struggle. And in that struggle, they built themselves into something unstoppable. Comfort is not your friend. It's the enemy dressed in soft clothes. It whispers to you, telling you to slow down, take it easy, stay where you are. And if you listen too long, it becomes your prison. It traps you in mediocrity. It traps you in routines that make you forget your dreams. So next time life gets hard, don't run. Don't hide, lean into it, push back, because every uncomfortable moment is a test, a chance to rise, a chance to level up. And if you pass that test, you come out stronger, sharper, better. Because comfort won't make you a warrior. Pain will, struggle will. The grind will. And if you can face that with discipline and fire, there's nothing in this world that can stop you. Success is not in hard work alone. It's in smart, strategic, relentless work. They told you to work hard, and you believe them. So you wake up early, hustle all day, push through the pain, burn yourself out trying to make ends meet. And still, it feels like you're running in circles, grinding nonstop, yet stuck in the same place. And you start to question it. Am I not working hard enough? Am I not doing enough? But the truth is, it's not about how hard you work. It's about how smart you move. Think of it like this. Imagine two people digging a tunnel. One has a spoon, the other has a drill. Both are working hard, sweating, pushing, giving everything they've got. But one is moving inches, the other is breaking through walls. The difference: tools, strategy, direction. Working hard with no direction is like sprinting in the wrong direction. Fast, painful, and completely pointless. You see it all the time. People putting in 12-hour shifts at jobs that don't grow them. People killing themselves over tasks that don't move the needle. They're busy but not productive, tired but not closer to freedom. And then there's the person who works with precision. The person who studies the game, learns the rules, watches the patterns, adapts like a machine. They may not move as fast at first, but they make every step count. And when the time comes, they explode because they didn't just work hard, they worked smart. They worked sharp, and they never let up. Relentless doesn't mean chaotic. Relentless means calculated, focused, disciplined. It means looking at your goals like a sniper, not a storm. You don't just throw energy at everything. You aim your energy at the target and don't stop until you hit it. In real life, this shows up in ways people miss every day. You could work overtime for 10 years, or you could learn a skill in 6 months that triples your income. You could chase followers all day, or you could build a brand that makes them come to you. You could take every gig, every offer, every opportunity that shows up, Or you could say no to 99 things and say yes to the one that explodes everything. Hard work is a mindset, but smart work is a strategy. And when you combine both, that's where the magic happens. Look at chess. The person who moves fast isn't the one who wins. The person who moves with vision, with a plan 5 steps ahead, that's the one who dominates. The board is full of hard workers, but only the strategic survive. Think about the gym. You can lift weights every day, but if your form is wrong, your diet is trash, your sleep is broken, you're just breaking your body. It's not just about the hours, it's about the quality. Are you working with purpose or just punishing yourself? Same goes for business. You can hustle 24/7, post content nonstop, chase clients like your life depends on it. Or you can build a system, automate the grind, master the algorithm, study your audience. The ones who blow up don't always work harder. They work like assassins. Silent, precise, deadly effective. Relentless doesn't mean doing everything. It means doing the right things over and over with zero excuses. It means choosing strategy over ego. It means stopping to analyze, learn, tweak, improve. It means being obsessed with the outcome, not just the effort. You've got to stop worshiping struggle and start mastering the method. Suffering isn't a strategy. Burning out isn't a badge of honor. There's no glory in being exhausted if you're not evolving. The goal isn't just to work hard, it's to win. And to win, you need clarity, intelligence, and an unshakable will. Most people never reach their potential because they confuse movement with progress. They confuse chaos with grind. They confuse being tired with being effective. And the world doesn't reward how tired you are, so it rewards how far your life. Are you busy or are you building? Are you grinding, or are you growing? Are you working for the sake of working? Or are you making moves that shift your entire future? You've got to become the type of person who doesn't just hustle, but who hustles with precision. You plan your day like it's a battle. You learn the terrain. You know where your energy should go, and you don't waste a drop. You're not afraid to work, but you're never working blind. Every action has a reason. Every move has a target. Every failure gets studied, not just survived, because that's what separates the ones who make noise from the ones who make history. Hard work can take you far, but smart, strategic, relentless work, that's what builds empires. That's what breaks generational curses. That's what turns nobodies into legends. You don't need to do everything. You need to do what matters and do it like your life depends on it. And when you do that, when you blend the hunger with the focus, the grind with the strategy, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when the world starts to feel your presence. Even before you speak, most people are financially enslaved by design through debt and low value habits. From the moment you're born, society starts planting seeds in your mind. They tell you to go to school, get a degree, find a good job, and work hard. And somewhere along the way, you start believing that this is the path to freedom. You get a steady paycheck, you buy the house, the car, the stuff, and yet you never seem to get ahead. You never seem to be truly free. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving fast, you're sweating, but you're stuck in the same place. That's because you've been sold a lie. You've been told that you need to work for money, but no one ever taught you how to make money work for you. It's not your fault. It's the system. The system wants you to be dependent. It wants you to be so caught up in the grind that you don't have time to think about the bigger picture. The more you hustle for a paycheck, the less time you have to create something that gives you freedom. And what's the easiest way to trap someone? Debt. Debt is the perfect prison. It makes you feel like you're living a life of comfort and security, but in reality, it's shackling you to a never-ending cycle of payments and obligations. When you sign that loan agreement for the car, the house, the credit card, you're signing away your freedom. Every month, you have to work harder just to stay in the same place. You're working not just for your life, but for the banks, for the lenders, for the corporations that profit from your debt. They're making money off your inability to manage your finances, and you're caught in the trap. Why? Because of low-value habits. Habits that make you spend money on things that don't grow you, things that don't give you a return on investment. You buy the expensive clothes to impress people who don't care. You get the latest phone because you think it's a status symbol. You're always chasing the next upgrade, the next luxury, the next thing that promises happiness, but it never delivers. You work harder and harder to buy more stuff, but none of it gets you closer to the freedom you want. Instead, it buries you deeper in debt. And debt is a silent killer. It sneaks up on you, pulls you into the daily grind, and before you know it, you're stuck in a system that controls your life. Imagine this: you wake up every morning, not because you want to, because you have to. You go to a job you don't love, and you work for someone else's dream. You pay your bills, your debt, your rent, and when the month ends, you have barely enough to get by. You dream of freedom, of financial independence, of being able to choose what you want to do with your time. But it seems impossible because debt has you in a chokehold. It's pulling you down, holding you back from the life you were meant to live. And the only way to break free is to recognize the truth. Most of your problems aren't about working harder. They're about the choices you make and the habits you form. Most people never learn how to manage their money. They're told to save, but they're never taught how to invest. They're told to get a job, but they're never told how to build wealth. They're stuck in low-value habits. habits that keep them financially dependent, habits that keep them enslaved. When you spend money mindlessly, when you're constantly living paycheck to paycheck, you're feeding the system that wants you to stay broke. The more you spend on things that don't matter, the less you have to invest in things that do. And the less you invest in your future, the more you become a slave to your present. This is why it's so important to break the cycle, to step back and really analyze how you're spending your time and money. Are you spending it on things that appreciate in value or things that depreciate? Are you investing in assets that will build your wealth? Or are you buying liabilities that drain your resources? Are you making decisions based on short-term satisfaction or long-term freedom? The reality is freedom isn't about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. It's about how much you invest. And it's about how much you learn to create wealth outside of your job. Because a job can never make you wealthy. A job can pay your bills, but it can't give you the freedom you crave. Real wealth comes from understanding how to make money work for you, how to invest, how to build assets, how to break the cycle of debt and consumerism. Look at the rich. They don't buy stuff they don't need. They don't buy cars to impress their friends. They don't keep up with the latest trends. They invest in things that grow their wealth: real estate, stocks, businesses, skills. They put their money in things that appreciate over time, and they leverage that growth to build even more wealth. They've learned to make money work for them, not the other way around. And that's the difference. They've broken free from the chains of debt, and they've learned how to build a life of financial freedom. You have the power to break free from this cycle too. It starts with understanding the game. It starts with recognizing that and low value habits are the chains holding you back. And it starts with making smarter choices. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's not about spending more. It's about investing more. It's about shifting your mindset from consumption to creation, from short-term pleasure to long-term wealth. When you stop living to impress others, when you stop spending on things that don't matter, you free yourself from the trap. And when you learn to invest in yourself, in your skills, in your future, you start building the life you were meant to leave. Not one that's defined by debt and low-value habits, but one that's defined by freedom, opportunity, and control. That's how you break the chains. That's how you step out of the system that was designed to keep you enslaved and into a future that's truly yours. Discipline is the key that unlocks the door to true freedom, not motivation, not talent, not dreams. Everyone talks about motivation like it's the secret to success. You hear it everywhere. Get motivated and you'll achieve your goals. But that's a lie. Motivation is fleeting. It's temporary. You wake up one day ready to take on the world, and the next day you can barely get out of bed. So what happens when the motivation fades? Most people quit. They stop pushing. They let go of their dreams because they don't feel motivated anymore. They don't realize that motivation is not the foundation of success. Discipline, on the other hand, is different. Discipline is consistent. It doesn't matter if you feel like it or not. Discipline makes you show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when the world is against you, even when everything feels impossible. Motivation can't be trusted. It comes and goes, but discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets, and the stronger your discipline gets, the more you unlock your potential. Take a look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they became who they are because they were constantly motivated? No, they became successful because they were disciplined. They did the hard things even when it didn't feel good. They got up early every day, they put in the work, and they kept going even when it felt like nothing was happening. The world doesn't care if you feel motivated or not. Life doesn't care if you feel like doing something today. But what it does care about is whether you have the discipline to keep going, to do the work even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's tough, and even when there's no immediate reward. Here's the truth: if you want to be free, if you want to live life on your own terms, you need discipline. Discipline is what allows you to rise above the chaos, to separate yourself from the masses who rely on temporary bursts of motivation. Motivation is easy to follow when everything is going well. But when life knocks you down, when things get hard, when your dreams seem out of reach, that's when you need discipline. Discipline is what keeps you going when everything inside you is telling you to quit. Think about a simple example: waking up early to hit the gym. At first, the motivation is there. You're excited to make a change, to start a new routine. But after a few days, the excitement fades. Your bed feels too comfortable, and your mind starts coming up with excuses. The motivation is gone. But the person who is disciplined, they don't need motivation. They don't care how they feel. They set their alarm, they get up, and they put in the work. They know that the only way to see results is by showing up every day, no matter how they feel. And over time, those small daily actions compound into something extraordinary. Their body transforms. Their mindset strengthens. They become unstoppable. Now, think about your goals. Maybe you want to build a successful business. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to get in the best shape of your life. Whatever it is, the key to achieving it is discipline, not motivation. Motivation will get you started, but it's discipline that will carry you through. Discipline is what makes you do the work when it's hard. Discipline is what pushes you to keep going even when there are setbacks. Discipline is what allows you to keep moving forward when everyone else around you is quitting. It's the same with your career. You may have the talent to get a job, to do well in your field, but talent alone won't take you to the top. You need discipline to keep growing, to keep improving, to keep learning. Discipline is what makes you show up every day and give your best, even when you don't feel like it. Talent will get you noticed, but discipline will get you promoted. Talent will make you good, but discipline will make you great. Without discipline, talent is wasted potential. Without discipline, you'll never truly unlock the freedom you desire. This is why most people never achieve their goals. They rely on motivation, and when motivation fades, so does their drive. They wonder why they can't make it, why they keep falling short. It's because they're not disciplined enough to push through the hard times. They're not disciplined enough to stick with it when things get tough. But those who make it, those who succeed, are the ones who don't give up when motivation fades. They rely on their discipline. They know that success is a process. They know that it's about the small daily steps, the consistency, the dedication to doing what's necessary, not just what's easy. Freedom comes when you realize that discipline is the ultimate weapon. It's the weapon that breaks the chains of procrastination. It's the weapon that crushes the excuses. It's the weapon that helps you conquer every challenge. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have to live life on your terms. Because when you have discipline, you can build anything. You can take on any challenge, face any obstacle, and push through any setback. You become unstoppable. So if you want freedom, if you want to achieve your goals, if you want to create a life you love, don't wait for motivation. Stop relying on feelings. Instead, focus on building discipline. Make discipline your foundation and everything else will follow. The power of discipline is the power to change your life, to create the future you've always dreamed of, no matter what obstacles stand in your way. That's the truth. Discipline is the gateway to freedom. People value strength and results, not excuses and potential. It's a simple truth, but it's one that many people fail to grasp. We live in a world where excuses are made daily. People talk about their dreams, their potential, their big ideas, but when it comes to actually doing the work, they fall short. They make excuses. They talk about why they didn't succeed, why things didn't work out the way they wanted. But the reality is, no one cares about your excuses. The world doesn't care about your potential. What it cares about is what you can deliver, what you can show, and what you can achieve. Let's break this down with a real-life example. Think about a person who wants to get in shape. They've got big goals. They want to lose weight, get stronger, become healthier. They start off strong. They talk about their vision. They're excited. They're motivated. But then the excuses start coming. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll start tomorrow. These excuses pile up day after day, and before long, they're not making any progress. They talk about how they're going to get in shape, but they're not putting in the work. They say they have the potential to be fit, but they're not doing anything about it. The truth is, no one cares about their excuses. No one's impressed by their potential. What matters is what they do. What matters is the strength they show to push through the discomfort, the sacrifice, and the grind. This is where people often miss the point. Potential is nice, but it's not enough. Everyone has potential. Everyone has dreams. Everyone can talk a good game. But in the end, it's the ones who put in the work, who show up consistently, and who push past the excuses that stand out. Those are the ones who get results. Those are the ones who achieve greatness. No one cares about the person who talks about how great they're going to be one day. What people care about is the person who shows up every single day, putting in the work even when it's hard. The person who doesn't make excuses, but simply gets things done. That's the person who earns respect. That's the person who gets results. Take a look at the people who are truly successful. The entrepreneurs, the athletes, the leaders, what do they have in common? They didn't make excuses. They didn't sit around waiting for the perfect time or the perfect conditions. They didn't talk about their potential. They showed their strength by taking action. They knew that success doesn't come from talking about how great you could be. It comes from doing the work, putting in the hours, and staying committed even when it gets tough. They weren't looking for validation, and they didn't care if anyone believed in them. They believed in themselves enough to keep pushing forward, to keep showing up, even when no one was watching. Now, think about your own life. Are you someone who has big goals but makes excuses when things get difficult? Do you talk about your potential but fail to take consistent action? If you are, then you're not going to see the results you want. Because the world doesn't care about your potential, it cares about what you can produce. The strength to act, to overcome challenges, and to do whatever it takes to get results. That's what people respect. It's not about talking a good game, it's about proving it with your actions. If you want to be successful, if you want to create the life you've always dreamed of, you need to stop making excuses. You need to stop waiting for the perfect moment. You need to stop talking about your potential and start showing your strength through results. It doesn't matter if the journey is hard. It doesn't matter if you face setbacks or obstacles. The only thing that matters is whether you keep going. People value strength because it shows that you're committed. Strength isn't about being the biggest or the fastest. It's about being persistent, being resilient, and showing up when it's easier to quit. Strength is about doing the things that others aren't willing to do, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. When you show that kind of strength, when you prove that you're willing to put in the work, that's when results happen. And when results happen, people will notice. Think about the successful people you admire. They didn't get to where they are by talking about their potential. They got there by showing up every day, by doing what others wouldn't do, and by getting results. They didn't wait for the stars to align. They made their own luck by creating opportunities through their actions. They didn't care if people doubted them or if the road was tough. They just kept going because they knew that strength and results are what ultimately matter. Now ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to stop making excuses and start showing the world what you're truly capable of? Because at the end of the day, the only thing that separates the people who succeed from the people who don't is the willingness to show strength and produce results. Potential doesn't mean anything if you don't take action. It's your actions, your consistency, and your results that define you. So stop talking about what you could do and start doing it. The world is waiting for your strength, not your excuses. You want to know the difference between those who make it and those who don't. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the decision to never quit, to never let the excuses win. Life doesn't care about your circumstances. It doesn't care about your potential. It doesn't care about how hard you tried. It only cares about results. You can sit around and complain, wait for things to be easier, wait for the perfect moment. But if you don't take action, if you don't put in the work, you'll never get anywhere. And in the end, all that will be left are the regrets, the what could have been, and the feeling of wasted potential. You are the architect of your future. Every decision, every action, or an action you take today is building the future you'll live tomorrow. It's time to stop waiting for motivation, to stop looking for shortcuts, and to stop giving yourself reasons to back down. The most successful people don't wait for inspiration. They create it by working tirelessly, even when they don't feel like it. They do what others won't so that they can have what others can't. They rise above the excuses, the doubts, and the fear because they know that success is not a gift. It's a reward for hard work, discipline, and sacrifice. Remember this, your dreams won't chase themselves. You can dream big, you can talk about it all day long, but unless you take massive, consistent action, your dreams will remain just that, dreams. There's no magic formula, no easy path. It's about showing up, doing the hard things, and making sacrifices along the way. It's about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And when you do this, when you push past your limits, when you challenge yourself every day, that's when the magic happens. You're not here to be average. You're not here to fit in. You're here to stand out, to break barriers, to show the world what you're made of. Every obstacle you face, every challenge you encounter is an opportunity to show your strength. It's a chance to prove that you're made of something greater, that you're not afraid to rise to the occasion, even when the odds are stacked against you. Think about the greats, the legends. They were never the ones who played it safe. They were the ones who took risks, who stepped into the unknown, who showed up even when they didn't feel like it. They didn't wait for motivation to strike. They created it. They didn't make excuses, they made results. Now, think about where you are right now. Is this the life you want? Is this the version of yourself you've imagined? If not, it's time to change. It's time to stop accepting mediocrity and start striving for greatness, because greatness is within you. Greatness isn't for the chosen few. It's for the people who are willing to work, who are willing to grind, who are willing to face failure and keep going. Greatness is built on the foundation of discipline, consistency, and resilience. And that's something you can control. Don't let your potential go to waste. Don't let the world pass you by while you sit on the sidelines making excuses. Step up. Take control of your destiny. The path to success is never easy, but that's exactly why it's worth it. If it were easy, everyone would do it, but they don't. Because it takes more than just dreaming, more than just wanting. It takes commitment. It takes focus. It takes sacrifice. But most importantly, it takes belief in yourself when the world tries to make you doubt. So make the choice today, right now, to step into your power, to stop waiting for permission, and to start taking massive action toward your goals. Because the life you want isn't just going to fall into your lap. It's waiting for you to earn it. You're capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. And the moment you realize that, the moment you decide to stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start creating your own opportunities, that's when everything will change. So go out there, push yourself harder than ever before, and prove to the world, and more importantly, to yourself, that you're not just here to talk about potential. You're here to show strength, to deliver results, and to make your dreams a reality. Remember, it's not about potential, it's about the power you unleash through your actions. So make every moment count. Your future is waiting for you.